everybody, it's Jenni Brandon, and this is another episode of Jenni Brandon's Work in Progress. And I thought today that we would do something a little different in light of all of the ever-changing situations that we're finding ourselves in right now with the coronavirus. A lot of you are at home, a lot of you aren't working right now, and are looking to fill your space and your time with things to help you stay settled and stable and riding out this unstable time. I thought it's really a good reminder to us to remember to take care of ourselves. And a lot of times in stressful situations, the first thing that goes is our exercise, our eating, and just our good ability to take care of ourselves when we have a lot more time on our hands and a lot more worry and stress. And so something that I also do besides music is that I'm a registered yoga teacher. And I've been offering and teaching classes since 2012 now. And I teach different types of classes. I teach flow yoga, I teach restorative, I teach prenatal and postnatal yoga, and I've been focusing a lot on teaching yoga for musicians. And so today I wanted to focus on a class that is for you, for musicians, but also for anybody. You can grab your friend, you can grab a family member to do this. We're going to do a really gentle yoga practice today. Something that we're going to get to stretch and open up a little bit and just feel like we can just be still and calm in the middle of a tumultuous time. So what you'll need for this practice is not too much. If you have a mat, maybe go grab your mat. If you don't have a mat, no big deal. You could just do this on your floor. You could throw down a towel if you wanted to. And a lot of times in my practices, I'll use different types of props. And there aren't really any props required for today's practice. If you wanted to grab a blanket, you can see I've got one folded up here. You're welcome to. This is one that we use for yoga a lot. But if you don't have a blanket like this, don't worry. You could grab a blanket off of your bed, right? You could grab, something that you could maybe roll up. We might bring this underneath of our thighs at some point to help support our low back. So it's not necessary, but it'll be a nice option for you to have it. So if you need to pause, go and grab your blanket if you want now, maybe a mat. And then we'll get started. So let's go ahead and come seated on our mats or on the floor. And if you can cross your legs comfortably, that's great. If you're finding that's too much for you, you can leave your legs extended out in front of you. But find a place where you can be really comfortable and come seated here. And we're just going to start off with our eyes closed. We can rest our hands in our laps. I think today a great place to start is with our palms face down. Palms face down feels nice and grounding and supported. So go ahead and rest your hands in your laps, palms face down. Close your eyes. And I want you to take a moment to just take a couple of deep breaths. Start to draw the breath in through the nostrils. And then maybe open your mouth and sigh it out. Maybe try that again, drawing that breath in deeply through the nostrils. And then opening the mouth and sighing it back out. Let's try that one more time. Nice deep breath in. A nice big exhale out. And then just taking a couple of slow, steady breaths. Just become aware of the body. What do you notice today? What feels good? Acknowledge that. What maybe needs a little extra attention or support from you today? Acknowledge that. No judgment. Just an awareness of how you are today. And with those eyes still closed here, we're going to take a moment to set an intention for our practice, a way of being that we're cultivating. I like this phrase, I am. How do you want to fill that in for yourself? I am grounded. I am calm. I'm happy. Whatever it is for you, let's take a few seconds and just think and set on that intention. We're going to slowly flutter open those eyes. We're just going to start off with some simple movement here today. So let's inhale. As we do, we're gonna reach our arms up to the sky, big stretch and length, maybe gaze between those hands. As you exhale, pull those hands back to heart center, like you're pulling all that good energy back to the center of the body. And again, inhale, reach those arms up and away to the sky, lengthen and stretch. Exhale, pulling all that good stuff back to heart center. And again, inhale, arms up and away, big stretch, big lengthening. Let's get some opening through the side. So bring your right hand to the ground, extend that left arm across your cheek, and think about this. We're not collapsing and falling to the side, but lift the heart, slightly turning it open towards the sky. And we're lengthening all the way down through those side ribs. Nice big side stretch here. Inhale, pull yourself back together to the center. And then we're gonna take it over to your left. So left hand comes down, right hand extends. Think about lengthening from your fingers all the way down through your bum that's sitting on that mat. Heart slightly opening to the sky. Drawing yourself back to center. We're gonna open our hearts to the sky here. We're gonna bring our fingertips just to rest behind us. Stretch the heart towards the sky. Squeeze your shoulder blades into the back of the heart. Take a nice, another big inhale. Nice big exhale. And then slowly bring yourself back to center. Let's take a nice twist here. So inhaling, arms to the sky. With those arms extended, start to turn towards your right. We're gonna bring our left hand to our right knee area, or our quad area. Draw that right hand back behind you and sit up tall. So you're lengthening through the spine. So as you inhale, you grow a little taller through your spine. And as you exhale, you get a little more space to twist. Never forcing the twist, right? Just allowing the body to naturally open up. Take another 2 breaths here. Grow tall through the spine on your inhale. On your exhale, let there be a little more space to find a little more twist. 1 more breath here. When you're ready, as you inhale, turn your head forward. We're going to release that twist, inhaling arms to the sky. We're going to take it to our left. So bringing that right hand across to your left leg here. Left arm, shoulder rolls open, fingertips rest close to your bum behind you. And maybe you gaze slightly off to the side, maybe slightly over that shoulder if it's not too much for your neck. Inhale, grow tall through the spine. As you exhale, find a little more space to open and twist. And 1 more time, nice big inhale. Nice big exhale. And as you inhale, come back to center. Reach those arms up and away to the sky. Pull those hands back to heart center. And we're gonna switch the cross of our legs. Why? So that we get a little stretch on the other hip, right? The other glute there. I like to say that we're switching to the awkward way to sit, right? Maybe you always sit a particular way and you switch your legs, you think that doesn't feel right? It's good for us to switch it up to balance out both sides of our body. So now from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna reach those arms back up to the sky again. And I want you to clasp your hands above your head. You can point your pointer fingers to the sky. Lift your chest, open the heart, get a little upper back bend right between the shoulder blades here. Lift and lift and lift. Good, and then slowly bend your elbows, squeeze your shoulder blades together, heart opens. Inhale those arms up to the sky, lowering them back down to your sides. And 1 more time, inhale, reach those arms up and away, lengthen and stretch. This time, clasp your hands above your head, reach slightly to the right. There's that big side opening again. Inhale back to center, reach slightly to the left. There's that other big side opening. Come back to center, bend your elbows, cactus arms, right? Squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift, lift, lift. Inhaling arms to the sky. And release those hands back down to the mat. Good. Now, we're gonna come out of this seated position. I just want you to scoop up your legs, right? We can stretch our legs forward for a moment, maybe point and flex the feet, maybe work your ankles here a little, spread out your toes, right? Give your feet a little chance to breathe and move here. And then we're gonna come onto our backs. So on your mat here, you can have your mat, right? Of course, if you're on the floor, that's fine too. We're gonna come lie on our backs, and you can come down a couple different ways. If it's easier for you to roll onto your side, this might be the best way. Roll over and come onto your back, right? You can also add a little belly work there if you're feeling ambitious today, right? You can plant your feet, extend those arms, and roll down one vertebrae at a time, right? Think about keeping those feet planted on the ground as much as you can. I know they want to pop up here a little bit, right? So once we come down, I just want you to stretch out your legs. Stretch your arms overhead and just get the biggest stretch of your day. Nice big lengthening here. Nice big opening. Maybe work the ankles, work the wrists here a little bit. It always feels really great, right? And then from here, let's bend in our knees. Let's start by giving ourselves a well-deserved hug. So we're going to hug those knees into our chest. Give them a good squeeze here. Right. Maybe a little rock from side to side. It always feels good in the low back. And notice this. The more you hug your knees towards your chest, the more your tailbone, right, that sits at the bottom of your pelvis lifts off the ground, right? Kind of around in our spine there. And the more we draw our legs away, the more the tailbone comes back towards the ground, right? We might get a little more massage on low back. So you can play with that. Maybe you want to make some circles on your ceiling with the knees, right? Switch directions, take the circle the other way. And then let's plant our feet onto the ground. Do one of my kind of favorite moves here to get the legs to open a little, windshield wipers. So take your feet as wide as your mat, right? So left foot to the edge of your mat, right foot to the other edge of your mat, arms out wide like airplane wings, and we're just gonna flow these legs from side to side. So as you exhale, allow your legs to flow towards the right. Just roll over the sides of your feet here, right? We get a little stretch on that opposite left leg and quad area and hip. Inhale, come back to center, knees reach towards the sky. And exhale, let your legs fall over to the left. And do this a couple times, right? Inhale, knees towards the ceiling. Exhaling, legs falling over towards that right. And slow on your breath, right? So just do a little bit more here, right? You're moving on your own breath. You're flowing slowly, right? The name of the game here is slow and gentle. We're not in any hurry. We're not rushing off. Right? I'm watching the time for us, so you don't have to worry. So maybe come back up and do one or two more times to each side. Real gentle movements here. You can just keep that breath working, right? As you inhale, the knees come back to center, knees to the sky. As you exhale, the legs fall to one side. Do one more here. Slow flow of breath and movement. And then come back to center with those legs. And I want you to go ahead and walk your feet a little more hip distance, right back to center. We're going to keep our left leg planted. We're going to keep that foot on the ground. We're going to hug the right knee into our chest. So give yourself a nice big squeeze, right? And this is hugging in. So think about this. As you exhale, draw that leg a little more closely towards your torso. Good. Maybe we'll make some circles, right? You can even kind of hold the edge of the leg. I'm just going to circle around, right? We're getting some nice movement into that ball and socket joint here. Take your circle around the other way. And then we're going to open our leg out. So we're going to let the knee turn out towards the right. We can hold on to the edge of our right foot with our left hand, right? And we're going to come to rest our right ankle on top of our left thigh. So we've got this nice figure four going on here. And this is a great little stretch, right? You can even bring your right hand to the inside of your thigh. Take a couple of breaths. I like to keep my right foot active, right? So we're activating this whole leg. We're protecting our knee here. Now some of you will stay here like this, and this is perfect. You can continue to just open the hip. If you want to try something a little deeper in this pose, you can start to lift up in that left leg. We're going to reach the right hand between the thighs. We're going to reach the left hand around the back of the left thigh. We're going to clasp behind that thigh and draw your head back down to the ground. Now, if you find that your head comes up and you're like, ooh, this is hard to bring my head down, maybe you should keep your foot down on the ground for now, or you can grab that blanket that you've got. Right, here's my blanket. Tuck it under your head. Ah, that's helpful, right? So take a couple of breaths. Big hip opening. You can even use your right elbow pressed into your inner right thigh to kind of open up here.
Yeah, that's a nice big hip opening here. Especially if you've been driving a lot, right? Or you find yourself maybe at home now, right? And just feeling stiff. Maybe you've been sitting a lot. Maybe you're doing a lot of computer work now that you've been at home during this unusual time in our country. So we want to keep our hips open and happy. Yeah. Take another breath or two here, right? We're just allowing stuff to open. We're trying to find our happy hip space. When you're ready, we're going to gently release. Release that left foot back to the ground. We can lift up that right leg, turn that foot away from you, and just hug your knee back into your chest for a moment. Nice big squeeze. Good. And release that leg onto the ground. We're going to stretch out both legs. We're just going to come back to neutral, right? This is what I like to call our neutral. It's kind of like Tadasana, mountain pose, right? But we're on our backs here. Yeah. So then we're going to switch. Let's go ahead and bend both of our knees. Let's hug our left leg into our chest. Give it a squeeze. Exhale and round. Right, nice big hug in here. We feel like as we exhale, we can draw that leg in a little more closely here. Right, maybe make a couple little circles here, moving around in that leg. Take it the other way. Take that circle around the other way here. Okay. And then we're going to take and open this left knee away from us, right? We can start to open here. We're going to bring our left ankle to rest on top of our right thigh. And again, right, and you can see here with my right foot that it's not way far out, right? The closer I draw it in towards my bum, the more of a stretch I'm going to get as I press my right knee away from myself. And I like to press on the thigh, and I like to ever really press on joints so much, right? We want to be careful with our joints. Flex your left foot. Take another 2 breaths like this. You might stay here, this is great. Or some of you might like to lift up your right leg, reach the left hand between the thighs, the right hand goes behind that right thigh, and then settle back down into this. And wow, there's that big hip stretch, right? Take a couple of big breaths here. Just trying to let the hips open. Slowly, right? This is why gentle practice and restorative yoga is great, because we can get nice, safe stretches, and the body opens slowly over time as we hold these poses. Take another 2 breaths here. And then when you're ready, we're going to let it release. We're going to help this leg, right? I want you to turn that knee back towards you. Give it a hug. Give yourself another well-deserved squeeze here. And then gently release those legs. Stretch the legs, stretch the arms. Nice big length, right? We can almost walk the legs by pushing one heel forward and pulling the other heel back. Good. And then from here, we're going to bend in those knees. We're going to roll onto our sides. You're just going to take your time, right, to come on up and over here. And we're going to come over into a tabletop pose. So for those of you that have any knee issues going on, I would suggest that blanket under your knees, right? So you can open it up, right? Kind of like some cushion under the knees. This is great, right? If you don't have a blanket, but you've got a mat, you could always fold your mat or roll your mat up here. There's Harrison. Hi, Harrison. Right, so tabletop pose. And so what this is, we're going to find ourselves in a tabletop, right? Here we go. So we're going to find hips underneath of our knees. And we're going to find, or hips over our knees, sorry, and then we're going to find wrists, elbows, and shoulders stacking up here, right? So let's do this. We're going to find this here, tabletop pose, flat back, right? We're going to do what we call cat and cow. And I'm going to show it to you from the side and from the front here too. So as you exhale, I want you to round your spine, stretch into your mid-upper back. Get a nice big stretch here, right? Sorry about that. I'm giving a little tuck in there. And then as you inhale, draw the heart forward, stretch and open the chest here. Exhale, round your spine, right? We're tucking the tailbone towards the ground. We're letting the crown of the head stretch towards the ground. And as we inhale, stretch the heart forward, open the chest, stretch the heart. Right? So from the front, it looks like this. Exhale, rounding your spine. Inhale, scoop the heart forward. You don't want to crank up the head, right? Keep the gaze slightly down and forward. Let's take 2 more of those. Round your spine, big stretch. Inhale, scoop the heart forward. Exhale, round. Inhale, come back to heart opening. And one more time, exhale, round in your spine. And inhale, scoop that heart forward. Good. Now, coming back into tabletop pose, we're going to do a pose like what I like to call puppy dog pose. So what that looks like is this. We're going to keep those knees under our hips, right? But we're going to walk our hands forward. So try not to fall forward out of here. We want to think about this half tabletop here. We're going to walk forward. We're going to stretch our arms forward. And if you can, go ahead and lower your forehead to the ground. If you can, it's okay to keep it lifted. We'll be here for just a moment. But we end up with a big stretch in our shoulders and the backs. Take another big breath here. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And then walk it all the way back to center. We're going to come back up, and we're going to come up onto our knees for a moment here. We're going to inhale those arms up to the sky. Drawing our hands to heart center. Good. And just for a moment, I want you to tuck your toes underneath of you. We're going to sit back towards our heels. Now, I don't want you to think I'm torturing you here, but we need a little stretch in our toes once in a while, and this is a great way to do it. So if you have any ankle issues or anything going on, don't do this, right? But if it feels okay, we're just going to take 2 more breaths. Maybe close your eyes. Those toes stretch out. Walk off of those toes, right? Take a moment, we're going to stretch our feet back. So stretch your left foot back, tuck that toe, get a calf stretch. Ooh, nice length in that low leg there. And then switch, take your right leg, stretch it back, get a big stretch there. We can even keep hip and knee stacking, right? If you press, right? Get that big opening in our calves. Come back to center. Good. We're going to come around. We're going to come seated again on our bums. And I should say that if you've got your blanket and you want to sit up on your blanket, you're welcome to, right? You can have the blanket underneath of you. I'll show you what it looks like here from the side. And kind of sit forward. Think about getting our tailbone out of the way so we're not tucked, right? This is what I call the unfortunate TV posture watching pose, right? Get your tailbone out of the way. I kind of slide, look, my bum's practically off of this blanket here. So it's great, right? I feel much taller while I'm sitting here. So let's get a little bit of bigger hip opening here. So what I want you to do is I want you to start off by stretching your feet out in front of you. We're going to take our right leg and I want you to bend it. We're going to open it out. Remember we did this on our back, right? We're going to lift up this leg and I just want you to give it a little rock. Right, little circles. Again, we're getting some big hip opening today. Little circles around here. We're going to take this right foot and we're going to bring it inside of our left foot. We're going to take our left thigh, but we're going to take our left thigh and adjust it out to the side. So our left leg's going to extend out to the side a bit. Our right foot's going to come in that inner thigh. So I've got this opening in front of me, but my left leg is off to the side. My right leg is bent and foot is inside of the thigh. So from here, I want you to bring your hands next to your hips. Sit up tall. Press yourself to lengthen through your spine. We're going to take a little forward fold here. So think about this. We're going to fold from what we call our hip flexors, from the place where that leg meets the trunk or the place where there's a fold right there in the leg. We're going to fold forward from there. We're not going to collapse and round our spine, but lift the heart and stretch forward. Drop your chin over your chest. Lengthen the back of your neck. And you probably feel this in your inner thigh, right? Some hamstring work. Keep extending through your left foot. Really flex it. Reach out through your heel. Keep the length in your spine. Take 2 more breaths. And then walk yourself slowly back to center here. We're going to help ourselves up. We're going to scoop up that left or that right leg here. Good. There goes Jezebel. We're going to take this right leg coming in, or this left leg, excuse me. We're going to lift it up. We're going to give that leg a little rock. A little circling around. I find that's really helpful here, right? So you keep doing that. I'm going to scoot Jezebel along here. Go on. Go on. There you go. You get a little dog yoga today. So then we're going to bring this left foot inside of our right thigh, and we're going to take the right leg and take it out to the side, just like we did on the other side.
right? So extend out through that right heel. We're gonna sit up nice and tall. Fingertips can come close to your bum, maybe off to the side a little bit, but you do this to keep some length in your spine. And we're gonna let ourselves begin to fold forward over that left leg. Remember, drop your chin over your chest, lengthen the back of your neck, keep the spine long. Take another 2 big breaths. We're opening inner thigh. We're keeping some space in the back. And when you're ready, walk it back to center. We're going to go ahead and we're going to scoop up this left leg, but we're going to open legs out, right? So if you go to stretch your legs out like this and you go, my hamstrings say no way, put a little bend in your knees like this, right? This is perfectly fine. If you're feeling okay in the hamstrings, you feel like you can keep some length in the spine, go ahead and just extend through those legs, right? So either way, right, we're going to keep the legs open nice and wide here. We're going to take a little forward fold. Again, bring the hands back to your hips and start to take that forward fold. And remember, don't collapse and round. If you start to collapse and round, stop where you are, right? That's probably as far as you can go. Take 3 big breaths. Keep extending out through both heels if your legs are straight. When you're ready, we walk back to center. We're going to help those legs up. So under the knees, scoop, lift them up, stretch your legs out for a moment. You can lean back, work the ankles a little bit here. Got one more little bit of hip opening before we go and do a final little subtle meditation. So we're going to bring the soles of our feet together. Now, if you've got real tight hips, okay, I would suggest you can do something with your blanket here. If you're sitting on it, you can take it out. You might even take your blanket. I like taking these blankets here and opening it up once and rolling it from the long edge, okay? So that I end up with this, what I'm calling a big tube, like a tube blanket. I'm gonna drop that on top of my feet and I'm gonna tuck it under my knees. Why? You'll see, it's gonna support those knees a little if your hips are real tight. If your hips are really tight and you're just not feeling this pose, okay? Just come back to seated with your legs crossed. We're not gonna be here real long. So your options, right? Soles of the feet. If your hips are feeling okay, you might just have legs open. Either way is fine. So a little side stretch here. We're gonna bring our right elbow into our knee crease. Extend that left arm up to the sky. Lift. So I'm using that bottom arm to lift me and open the heart. I get a twist around my rib cage. I lift the chest. I take a side stretch. There's my side ribs opening. Take a big breath. We've got so much space here now. Draw yourself back to center. We're going to take the other side. Left elbow into that knee crease. Right arm extends. Twist. Open the heart to the sky. Delightful. Ooh, big heart opening, right? Big side opening. Come all the way back to center. If it's fine for you to stay here, you might just sit here nice and tall. Some of you might like to add a little forward fold. Sometimes I like to hold on to my feet. Sometimes I get a little deeper. I might hook my elbows into my shins and pull myself a little more deeply into this. All depends on how you're feeling. Drop your chin over your chest. Close your eyes. Let's take 3 big breaths. Ready, walk yourself back up. We're going to just use hands, help ourselves up. We're going to help those knees too. We're going to scoop them up, stretch those legs forward. There it is. Good. All right. And now that we've opened ourselves up, our body's a little more warm, it's a little more open. This is when we can really start to find our way into being able to do a seated meditation. Something that maybe is harder when our bodies aren't as warm or if we're feeling stiff. But now that we're more open, let's try it. So we're going to finish our practice today with a short meditation, and we're going to start by coming to a comfortable seated position. So we've got that blanket, right? You might take it, fold it up. We're going to bring it underneath of our bums, right? You can sit at the edge of it, drawing your tailbone out of the way. And so we can come seated up nice and tall here. Now, with your legs, you might cross your legs. Maybe you feel more comfortable extending your legs, whatever feels like the best way for you to be seated. So we're going to start by closing our eyes and let your palms rest face down in your lap for some grounding. I want you to think on that intention, that way of being that you're cultivating here on your mat in your practice and in your days and your weeks to come. What are you working on? Maybe it's to be grounded, to be calm, to be open. Whatever it is, whatever feeling, whatever phrase that makes you think of that intention, we're going to think on that here, and we're going to meditate for a few moments. Just allowing the breath to continue to flow naturally here. Take a moment to thank yourselves for getting on your mat to grow your practice and do something good for yourself today. To calm, to ground, and to just offer yourself that care and that love that you deserve. And gently opening those eyes. I thank you all so much for sharing your time today. And I look forward to sharing more with you soon. Namaste.